Welcome back, Bravehearts. I'm Dr. Darrell Wolf, and I'm home. I made it back home, and I'm now in Ixtapa, Zihuatanejo, Mexico, and this is my home, okay? All right, and guess what? Today's one-a-day, arthritis, okay? Toxic and twisted, okay? All right, so here's the deal. I want everybody to understand something. I so appreciate surgeons. I appreciate them. I totally do. When it comes to emergency surgery. But I will tell you that we live in a programmed world, okay? And in this programmed world, we're the ones that are being programmed. I don't believe that people are bad, but I believe that people have a lot of BS. Which is bad belief systems, bad science. You know, it wasn't until probably approximately 50 years ago that we totally went surgery crazy. You know, everybody talks about, okay, arthritis a lot, but understand something. If you knew what arthritis was, it just means inflammation of a joint. Take a look at bones here, okay? All right, let's take a look at this being a river. And look at the bend. You see the bend in the elbow, the bend in the wrist, okay? The bend in the finger joints, okay? All right, the cervical spine in between the vertebrae, okay? The TMJ, okay? Wherever you're going to have what we call joints, all right? Guess what? The secrets lie in the joints. And you know what I think? I think that the whole medical system needs to smoke a joint and chill out. Because understand something. What do they tell you when you have arthritis? Well, first of all, if you have arthritis, which is inflammation, you're going to go to a physician and he's going to give you a drug. Now, do drugs heal? If I said that to anybody, people would go, no, of course not. Well, then why are you taking them? Well, because I can't handle the pain. I can't handle the stiffness. Well, the stiffness isn't going to leave. It's just going to get worse because the actual stiffness is what we call old age. You know, it's like this. I'll be 67 in, I don't know, I think it's in 2 weeks or something like that. And, you know, I can go right down and do a pelvic squat and go right and have perfect balance here. All right? You should be able to actually have the same balance and the same flexibility, the same mobility as when you were younger. This is all just a play on you. Understand something. Like I said, I respect surgeons, but only when there's an emergency surgery. And understand something. Most of these emergency surgeries are because of the BS, bad science, okay? Dysfunctional treatments. I mean, how many practitioners out there, even in the natural health field, they do body work, they do nutritionals. How many of them know that it's all about flow? It's all about circulation. If you got perfect circulation, you got perfect health. Okay, if you've got 1.4 volts in your cells, then you've got perfect health because we are walking, talking batteries. How many people know that? How many people know that when your circulation comes down and when infection comes up due to an inflamed mind because you have dysfunctional beliefs about yourself and the world and they get you to fear everything, false evidence appearing real, creates what we call anxiety, and anxiety will burn out the brain and then we get depression. And every time that you get stressed out, aren't you stiffer? Every time you get stressed out, don't the weak areas of your body just go off like an alarm system? Well, what's that telling you? That's telling you to chill out, stay in the present moment, calm down, and make healthy choices on an emotional and physical level. Surgeons will come up with any excuse to do surgery, right? I'm going to go see the best surgeon. Well, the best surgeon, he's the best at cutting things out, whether it's organs, whether it's joints, doing a hip replacement, okay? Whether it's doing hip replacement, a stent, or mesh, or putting a rod in, or fusing your spine, okay, or putting a screw or a plate in. Oh, they're really great at that. Oh my God, I'm going to the best surgeon ever. Well, 99.9% of all surgery never had to be done. Think about it. The only time we need to do surgery is if we have a car accident or if we have a sports injury. And then a lot of sports injuries now are happening because even children are getting fractures and breaking their bones because of Cheerios. Because of what? Ice cream, because of pop, because of eating refined carbohydrates. All right, and getting tons of sugar where they don't know they're getting, or getting maltodextrin, which they don't even have to say it's in the product. So understand something. Arthritis is caused because of infection on an emotional and physical level. Arthritis just means inflammation in the joint. Now, when you go to a doctor, they say you have arthritis, but we don't ask questions. We don't challenge these people. You know what? There is no authority over you. You have been granted this illusion, okay, that these doctors are like some form of religion called medical care, and they're the high priests, and you can't question them. And the reality is, you know what? That's your fault. That's your fault. If you don't want to question me, if you don't want to question medical doctors, if you don't want to question the government, if you don't want to question the police, if you don't want to question everybody that thinks they have authority over you, and none of them do have authority over you, by the way, but you know what? You keep walking around in fear, and whatever they tell you, you just listen to them. Remember something. People have information, but it doesn't mean that it's correct. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, the majority of the population, whatever they do, I'm not going to do. And I've already talked about that. Look at the majority and then do the opposite. Seriously, like they're doing well? Understand something. Every joint is like the bend in a river. And when you are throwing garbage into your mind and garbage into your mouth, okay, all right, which we do, all right, those two things accumulate in the river bend, which is in the joints. The issues in your tissues usually get caught in the joints, and eventually it will get stored also in your organs, your muscles, your tendons, and your ligaments. Understand something, arthritis is just inflammation that then the beautiful connective tissue, whether it was the tendons or the ligaments or the muscles, okay, becomes dehydrated. Arthritis. Itis means what? Inflammation. Inflammation causes dehydration. Are you able to get the slide up here on the arthritis slide, Juan? Because it didn't work. All right? Okay, it's up here, but it's not back here. Now, we know that itis means inflammation, and inflammation means inflame, which is fire. The fire causes dehydration, just like you take a piece of meat that is 1 inch thick muscle, okay, from animals, and then we dehydrate it, and now we bring it down to 1/2 an inch or 1/4 of an inch, and we call that beef jerky. And all you got is you've got calcification in here. So in every joint in your body with arthritis, all it is connective tissue that has been inflamed, that becomes dehydrated, and then guess what? You don't have the elastic ability for it to bounce back. And the reality is this: when you start to have a scar tissue, whether it's in anywhere in your body, it gets shorter and it gets thinner. Now, you haven't lost any of the muscle fibers, it's dehydration, so the muscle fibers come tighter together. Old age is a scar tissue calcification issue in your joints, in your muscles, in your organs, in your ligaments, in your tendons, in your brain. Here we call it what? A lesion. In the abdominal area, we call it an adhesion. In the breast area, we call it a fibroid. In the pelvic, we call it a fibroid. And then what they used to do when it was stage 4 inflammation, they would call it a tumor. And they would call it a tumor or a tumor in here. That's just stage 4 inflammation. I don't believe in cancer. I don't. And I don't believe the cancer okay, spreads through the body. Inflammation spreads through the body. You can't show me one study that cancer cells get released and they flow throughout the body. You can show me, though, that if you get inflammation and infection long enough, and you've got enough inflammation that they call it cancer because it's stage 4 inflammation, eventually that's going to happen in another area if you don't change your mind and the way you live your life. Right now we have consultations on for $95. Where are you going to get a consultation for $95 that it's a 1 hour, we'll send you the audio, we'll send you the pdgfree.com guide so you can go through it even before the consult and take a look at the 4 pillars of what we call health and healing. And then you can, whoever does your consult, and if you can't get in touch with them, you can call me at 469-861-9454 or 8884, and you can call on WhatsApp or direct. It's a USA phone number for the rest of your life. Understand something, if you're not going to learn and observe your day from the moment you rise till you close your eyes, then you're going to be ruled, schooled, and fooled by people that you think have an authority over you. Do you know how many people call me up and they fear their doctors? They fear them, and they know they have to listen to them or they'll get spanked. What is that? What is this terrorism all about? Well, you're only going to do that when you know that all you're trying to do is control people and that you're just power hungry. And then a lot of these medical doctors don't even know that they're doing it because they all do it. It's just like the majority of the population is not well. But they all think that this is as good as it gets because that's the majority rules, right? No, the majority is going to be ruled. So you need to understand that arthritis is just where if I get infection in a joint, or it could be a muscle, or it could be an organ, but wherever I get infection, okay, I'm going to get inflammation. And then if I get inflammation, I'm going to get, what am I going to get with that? Well, I'm going to get swelling because water is going to come to the area to try to put out the fire. And then I'm going to get what? I'm going to get stiffness because I'm dehydrating my tissues and I'm pulling the calcium from the nearest bones because the calcium has to buffer down the acidity so that we don't drop by 35% in oxygen to become what they call cancer, and I say stage 4 inflammation. So a fire eats up oxygen, yes or no? So that's why the water comes. That's why you have the swelling. But the thing is you're going to pull calcium from the bones to alkaline the area, okay, so that we can hold on to the pH balance so we don't go into an acidic situation, which means that you are frying up and your oxygen levels will drop. Okay, so that's what we call arthritis. Now, I work on people, and you can see this. I've got videos. There's tons of videos. If you go into my guide, you'll see where I show where I work on people, and I don't do it as much here now at the clinic down here, but we will be. We'll be showing people, they'll come in, I'll work on them. But I've worked on people where their actual joints of their fingers look as big as grapes. All that is calcification and scar tissue formation. I don't care. Anybody, okay, you happen to be in Extopasy, Watanago right now, give me a call and we'll do this tomorrow. I'll go in and I'll work on your joints, I don't care how big they are, and in 20 minutes I will reduce that joint, okay, by 30 to 50% to prove to you that when you pull the fibers apart, okay, and you allow the blood flow, you allow the electricity back in, okay, and you allow the lymph flow, okay, guess what? The joint's not going to be all swelled up like that. People go, oh my God, where did all that go, that scar tissue? It didn't go anywhere. We brought life back into here. We've loosened up the calcium deposits. They will actually go back into the bones. When you use cell sonic regeneration, which I do, I would use cell sonic on, let's say if it was a arthritic knuckle, I would use cell sonic and I'd only have to do what? 10 pulses, that's it. Then I'd go in and do non-surgical and I'd take that whole thing apart. The calcium would fall apart like crackers. The scar tissue would come apart and the blood flow would come back and the electricity would come back and life would come back. I will give anybody a money-back guarantee that even if you're booked for surgery, if you get Cellsonic and you get non-surgical and you go on our perfect day, and I might have to put you also on the cardio med bed, but you will not be going to surgery. So would you like to keep the joints, the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments that God gave you? Or are you a trauma king or queen where, you know what, you're not getting enough attention or enough love from the world, so you need to get attention out from the outside world when you should be giving all that love and attention from yourself to yourself and learning how to love and take care of yourself. Do not let anybody else take care of you. Do not let people come along and say, we need to cut this out and replace it. Look, you may not have any pain after the surgery, but you will have stiffness because surgery causes more what? Scar tissue than anything else on the planet. And understand something, a lot of you are going, well, I don't have any scar tissue. I've never been in a sports injury or a car accident. And understand something. Second to surgery, this here called your mind, which for most is a landmine, and every time you're stressing, you're dumping adrenaline and cortisol into your body, and you don't even know it. And that, my friend, is creating the acidity that's causing the scar tissue. And depending on the thoughts you're having will depend on what part of your body that you're frying out and storing those issues in your tissues. Because understand, everything is either a positive vibration or a negative vibration. So let me just talk to you about this. TMJ, I've got arthritis in my TMJ, or I can't open my mouth, or I have pain in here. Well, guess what? It stores anger. And that's the truth. Oh, you made me so mad. Okay, all right, okay, or suppressed anger. And people have suppressed anger when they don't like the way their life is going and they believe that the outside world needs to change so that they have a beautiful time. I don't care what goes on in the external world because I have no control of it. But I do have control on the way that I process what's going on inside the outside world, which is I will mind my own business no matter if they just started a new war, they brought out a new poison, whether it's a frequency or whether it's blue light or it's a new toxic poison. I know how to find food that is pure. I know how to have pure thoughts. I know how to mind my own business because understand something, there are no diseases. There are people that are programmed. That's it. There are people that are programmed. And depending on the type of program you're running and the type of dysfunctional program you're running will determine the disease you have because you're not at ease. And that's it. Cancer does not run in families, okay? Heart disease does not run in families. Families do not have diseases that run, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as genetic diseases, they're epigenetic, and you're gonna go, that's not true. Well, guess what? Then why don't you just prove it to me? Go find some real true science because they did what was called the Genome Project, and guess what? They wanted to prove that disease was genetic, and they found out that it wasn't. And that was taxpayers' money, American taxpayers' money that went to that. They didn't tell you about that one, did they? Go look it up. Go look it up. The only thing that is actually passed down through the family is habits, is programs that you don't even know you're running. So understand something, you can have arthritis of the TMJ area, and guess what? If I went in here and I did 20, 30 pulses, and I did Wolf non-surgical here, and I lovingly took this apart, you would be able to open up your jaw. It would take me approximately 10 to 15 minutes, this side, and I would also do the other side, even if you said there was no problem, because it's always compensating. And then people that have headaches all the time, I'd do the same thing. I'd go in the back of your occiput. I would do cell-sonic regeneration, okay? And then I would do non-surgical. Okay, and then I might do another little bit of cell-sonic regeneration to bring down any inflammation, and then I would show you how to use a clapper when you go home on any area that I've worked, how to use DMSO gel, DMSO rose cream, how to use Pain Away essential oil, and guess what? We're gonna rock that thing. You're gonna turn this around. There is nothing that cannot be healed because of God Almighty. Our bodies are miracles, and guess what? It's a miracle that most of you are still alive. And the reality is, if you don't want to learn this, I get it. But understand, even when we take a look here, okay, we've got the cervical vertebrae, right? They're right here. Now in between we've got the discs. If you've got a neck problem, that's only because you've dehydrated the discs in between the vertebrae. Do you know that? You've dehydrated the discs in between the vertebrae. Okay. So now we've lost all the slides. Can we get that working? And can we get the slideshow working back here, please? Thank you. Okay, now, let me keep going. So we've got, okay, the discs that are here. You know when they tell you, oh my God, okay, you've got a slip disc, whether it's in your vertebrae, up in your cervical, or down here. There's no such thing as a slip disc. What did it do? Slip into your underwear? Did it slip into your sock? No, what happened is, you've got one side, okay, that is so dehydrated and inflamed. Okay, so what we have is, let's say if I had problems on my left side, okay, so on my left side, I've got a problem, and right here, okay, in the disc, remember what I told you about it? I said, inflammation, inflame, it's a fire, causes dehydration, and your discs aren't thinning out, they're dehydrating. So now you don't have the fluid in the discs, right? So you think, oh my God, you know, people say, oh my God, I'm an inch or 2 inches shorter. Well, that's because you dehydrated the discs in between your vertebrae all the way through your spine. And if I were to go in here and do 1,200 pulses of cell-sonic regeneration, and I did Wolf non-surgical here for 45 minutes to an hour, you would have you'll have at least 1 inch back. If you've lost 2 inches, you might have 1.5 inches. I might have to go in 2 or 3 times to bring your height completely back. Are you getting this? When you go to a doctor and they go, well, you must be losing bone calcium, that's why you're shorter. Do they even do any research on the stuff they're told? Does that mean that the skull has shrunk, you know, like those African head shrinkers? No, it just means the dehydration in between the vertebrae of your discs, and that can all come back. You pull the fibers apart, you decalcify with the cell-sonic, because the cell-sonic regeneration, okay, will actually decalcify the tissues. It will decalcify organs. It actually causes the calcium that has been displaced in the tendons, ligaments, cartilage, wherever it is, organs in the body, it causes it to be ionized. And when you ionize the calcium with the cell-sonic regeneration, it actually has the energy to pull that calcium where it was taken and put it back into the bone. Go think about that one. And it guess what? It decalcifies the ATP. I mean, not the ATP, it decalcifies the mitochondria inside the cell, so now you can make ATP to get the energy to actually get your life back. Because just know this, it doesn't matter what disease you have or what part of your body, it's all mitochondrial dysfunction, which is the powerhouse of the cell that makes ATP, which is your energy. A person that weighs, okay, 75 kilos, which is about 175 pounds, needs to make almost 200 pounds of ATP a day to be energetic and full of life. And understand something, okay? Aging is not in the DNA. There are no genetic diseases. Are we done yet? Are we done yet trying to get the majority believe that they're crippled and they have nothing they can do about this aging thing? Yes, I get it. You know, your human growth hormone starts to get depleted after 25. Your IGF-1 does too. Okay, your glutathione does too. And this has all been set up in the human body. It's a manipulation, okay, of aging. Trust me, we've been played with for centuries, okay? So anyways, so understand this, you can get your height back. And people that have breathing problems, do you know what? Okay, I've got arthritis in my ribs. I've got, all we gotta do is do cell-sonic in this area and then do non-surgical here. And I will give anybody that wants to come to me with arthritis or pain and inflammation, I will work on you and we will go live right here and I will show the whole world that be when ruled, schooled, and fooled. And I will tell you something right now. There's not a person out there that if you have energy and you can stand up and you can get down and you can move around still, that you couldn't learn the Wolf non-surgical and actually do better body work than 99.9% of the body work out there. Whether you want to believe it, whether you're talking about medical or you're talking about the natural health world, they've all been diluted and twisted. I don't belong to any organization except the World Organization of Natural Medicine. And understand something, nobody comes and tells me how I have to perform or what I'm allowed to do and not to do. You know what? You have to understand that there's systems out there and they keep control. Medical doctors, okay, understand something, they mean well. They're human beings. Everybody means well, but they are on a leash. Nobody puts me on a leash. Understand something. If we don't start teaching people how to look after their bodies, we are not going to exist anymore. And this is one big setup, okay? All right? And whether you want to believe it or not, from transgender to transhumanism, that's as much as I'll touch that topic. The reality is this, be whatever you want, but the reality is they will push their narrative that, guess what? You know, arthritis is just inflammation of the joint. And it doesn't matter whether it's in your hands or your elbow or it's in your hip. And what most of you do not understand is the pelvis, which is the holy grail of everything, okay? Because your good bacteria are 85% of your immune system. And whether you want to believe it or not, 99% of the population have parasites, and they don't have to. And doing parasite cleanses is not wrong. Somebody said to me, well, could I do ivermectin and hold on a second here, bendazole? Can I do those? Okay, and one's kind of a herbal drug and the other one is a drug, because you got to understand, ivermectin is a drug. And I will never do ivermectin, but I'm not telling you not to do it. Yeah, you could do those two things and you could get rid of your parasites and bring them down. But the reality is this, if you learn how to do a perfect day, you never have to do a parasite cleanse again. Why are we always running to the rescue? That's what this whole medical system is all about, isn't it? To allow you to fall apart. They run to the rescue. They really don't teach you how to heal yourself. That needs to be something that you need to teach yourself, right? I'll tell you something right now. You come to my whole life coach certification and you can think this is a promotion for me or for my business, but the reality is that's 9 days you'll spend with us, and that's it. That's it. There are no more mysteries of health. There are no more mysteries of the way the world revolves. I teach how the world actually is revolving, and it's just a game, and don't take it personal. Don't take it personal and don't get upset. It's not going to change. It's been this way since the very beginning. So it doesn't matter where you're talking about. A person that has a calcium deposit in her breast, understand something. That's the last stage before stage 4 inflammation, which they call cancer. And understand, before she had that calcium deposit in her breast, she had what were called little fibrous adhesions in her breast, and she could feel the pulling. And then she could even feel like, oh my gosh, I can feel something here and it feels kind of tough. All that is just scar tissue created to try to protect and wall off the infection, okay? And first we're gonna get crystallization, scar tissue, and then we get calcification. And understand, the breasts are like a magnet, okay? I'll be talking about that more, I'll be showing pictures. The breasts are like a magnet, okay, everybody? Let me see if this works now. Nope, doesn't work, okay? All right, so the breasts are like a magnet, and the reality is do you know how and why we make fat? You see the fat on me? I've got maybe a teeny bit here. I'm trying to get rid of it. I just want to tone up now. And that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to tone up. And you'll see it. I will gradually change and gradually tone up. But the reason why people make fat cells is to keep them alive. The more fat you have, the more toxic you are here. And when I say toxic emotionally, I'm telling you that you probably were physically, emotionally, or sexually abused. And the reality is this, or you live in an abusive family, which is almost all families on some level, and it's not their fault. If you didn't notice the commercials, any commercial on TV is cancer-causing, disease-causing products, everything that would make you sick. And the reality is, we find that in everybody's house almost. And the reality is, these adults, which are adulterated, are raising children, and those children are learning this is as good as it gets. And there's the problem. There's nobody coming to save us. So this isn't going to turn around unless you want to take massive personal action, take a whole life coach, health certification. I'll give you a 3-day money back guarantee right to the end of the third day, but by the third day that you know that you're the one in charge, that you're the only authority for you, and that you need to mind your own business and become that which you want to see your family become. That's the deal. And like I told you, we can teach anyone. It's even easier to teach a layperson than a physiotherapist sometimes, or a massage therapist, or a chiropractor, or a doctor, how to do the Wolf non-surgical, because everything gets in their way. Yesterday, I had this lady, and her name is, well, it doesn't matter what her name is. The reality is, she said to me, Dr. Wolf, your cell sonic regeneration. Well, I've been telling this to my cousin, and guess what? He's a scientific, I think she said a scientific doctor. And I said, listen, go ahead. You try to convince them. I'm not going to. The more that somebody is into science, science, all right, the less that they're going to understand. What is it with people? What do you think I'm going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and do research on the cell sonic regeneration when every day we give a money back guarantee that in the first treatment with cell sonic regeneration and doing Wolf non-surgical, that we will do more in that one treatment than all the other treatments combined, whatever they've done before? There's my research. I'm not going to kowtow to any scientist or any medical doctor. Now, there's great scientists like, Bruce Lipton. He's a scientist, and he's a logical scientist, but the scientific community wouldn't embrace Bruce Lipton. So the reality is I don't need anybody's approval, because I have a money-back guarantee on my courses, my trainings, my treatments. And I said to her, with no disrespect, I am not going to try to convince anybody that believes that they are a scientific doctor. That just means they went to school so long that they are been pigeonholed. And that's the reality. How many people in your family have like 3 PhDs? I mean, how's their life looking on an emotional, nutritional, and physical level? Are you wowed by all their information? Let me tell you something. The most important information I ever learned was from people that had no degrees, but they knew what life was, and they knew the balance of life on an emotional, nutritional, and physical level. And understand something, a farmer does not have any degree, but they are the ones that are actually helping to heal us. Jim Gale, I'm not sure if he has a degree. He might have a food forest abundance. He might have a degree, but guess what? It isn't a degree that he has, it's logic. And he also knows how to create food forest abundance. You don't need a PhD to do that. You don't need a PhD to take your life back. You don't need a PhD to be abundant on all levels. Let me just say this. Harvard and Yale University actually, create the most dangerous people on this planet. Are there beautiful people that go there and come out? Yes. But do they create the most dangerous people on this planet? Yes. Don't try to wow me with your PhDs. So I'm Dr. Darrell Wolf. Big deal. I say to people, you know what? Sometimes it's just fly bait. Anybody can learn what I've learned. Anybody can do what I do. I am nothing special. We are all special. And as soon as you realize that you're special and that you get into your specialty, your passion, your purpose, you can learn all of this. My manual that comes with the Whole Life Coach certification is, it's better than any university's ever put out, or any college, and I will challenge any university or college on that. I'm not looking for a fight. I'm not looking for a battle. I'm trying to tell you that you don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you don't have to have all these initials behind your name to be a beautiful, powerful person. We were created by God Almighty, and we need to start acting like it. There is not a problem in this body that, or arthritis, give me something hard to do. The only reason why you and your arthritis is getting worse is because you haven't changed your diet, you're not making healthy choices, you're playing Inky Dinky Schnitzel House. Okay? The reality is you're probably taking some type of medication to bring down the pain, okay, the inflammation. And guess what? Does anybody know when you take drugs that all you're doing is cutting off the information to go to the brain? Even though you're still on fire, you're still inflamed, your brain says you're not, and you're moving around and you're still on fire inside. And this is the truth. That's why anybody that opts for drugs to be numbed out from the symptoms, but they're not really symptoms, they're love messages from your body saying you're out of alignment. If they take the drugs and they numb themselves out, that area that's on fire already is still on fire. That organ will shrink down into a calcified beef jerky knot, and then guess what? You won't even be able to move anymore. Ugh! Ugh! And then you got your cane. Oh, how many canes do we see now? Walkers, wheelchairs. Oh, please. And then 90% of the people that are in the electric wheelchairs, they've just given up emotionally, so now they're just in their wheelchair ready to run people over. But you go ahead, you get that cane. Once you get that cane, you're on your way to the nursing home. You're on your way to bad problems. You get rid of that cane. I'm telling you right now, you got a cane, you got a walker, you can get rid of it. Do you want to get rid of it? Or did you emotionally give up? Do you no longer have a passion or a purpose? You no longer have life flowing through you? Or you just give up? Because guess what? You've been in love so many times and people let you down, and guess what? It's not your fault. But love is a self-serve job. I make sure that I get up every morning and I fill my heart with love, because I don't want to attack anybody on this planet, especially my beautiful Lori or my children, and make them responsible for making me feel like I've got value. So understand something, people are giving up. Why are they giving up? Well, you go ahead and you watch CNN, you watch the Fox News, you listen to the majority of your family, your friends, your neighbors, and you will be so toxic and twisted. There's your arthritis. Toxic and twisted emotionally, you're going to become toxic and twisted physically. And that's it. Do you think that you can get off the addiction of the trauma, releasing adrenaline and stop that and start releasing the dose, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins? Because guess what? Oh yeah, the love is the answer, but it's just an ingredient. It's what you do with it. It's called self-serve. Listen, I'm not going to ask anybody to wipe my butt or dress me. Okay, I can do that for myself, okay? I can also look after my health from the tip of my nose to my toes, and I can teach anybody how to do this. I can teach anywhere from an 8-year-old child to 100 and whatever person. It doesn't matter where they came from in life. It is so simple. That what you call God has made everything so logical and so simple. Man has manipulated and confused it, because man wants your money. And you're going to go, well, Dr. Wolf, you're after our money. Well, I offer a money-back guarantee wherever I possibly can without hanging myself. I don't see them doing it. Let me see your medical doctor, your chiropractor, your massage therapist. Let me see any other college or training institute offer a money-back guarantee. Let me see them do it. The reality is you can think of me what you want. Just like this. You know, I still have to deal with this, and my poor practitioners and even patients and clients that come to me still have to put up with the marketplace show where I stole money from people and I actually helped to kill 3 people. You know, this is going to go on forever, because this is it. I get it. But I'm not going to calm myself down to the point that I'm not going to tell the truth. Understand, if you tell the truth today, you become a target. I'd rather live one day being a Braveheart hero, okay, than hiding out. Understand something. We all need to become heroes for ourselves first and foremost, and then shine that light on your family. Show your family today that you can be 1% more courageous. 1%, okay, more as an observer, not a judger. You can be 1% more in love with yourself today. Do just 1% more in love with yourself. In 100 days, you could be 100% in love with yourself, and you wouldn't have these tyrants, these psychos, making you feel guilty. Corporations are poisoning the planet, and then they're blaming it on us. Doctors are blaming our health on genetics, and it's got nothing to do with genetics, or they're blaming us for our health, and they get so frustrated and so angry at us because guess what? They have invisible bonds. They're shackled. They're not allowed to talk. Oh yeah, so diet doesn't matter, cleansing doesn't matter, and definitely we're not spirit beings, and energy, it doesn't even exist, and electricity doesn't exist. We are light, energy, electrical, magnetic beings. And as a practitioner, am I trying to raise you up right now? So people go, is he angry? Is he angry? No, I'm not angry. I'm out there calling the lions. You can call a lion by a roar, and a lion's going to go, roar, and it's going to go, yes, I'm here, I'm in. But how many lions are in the jungle? There's a lot more monkeys, isn't there? Okay? There's a lot more hyenas, isn't there? There's not a lot of lions. So understand something. I'm on here for the lions. I'm not on here for the rest of the jungle. Because understand something. If people were going to wake up, they would have woken up already. They would have woken up already. Some people are going to stay asleep their whole life. Let me tell you something. There's not a disease that can't be turned around. Okay, they say there's 4 that can't, and I believe this. Did you ever notice something? The Olympics is on right now, and the only thing I'm going to talk about at the Olympics is because I am not an Olympic supporter. It is so toxic, so twisted, and even the commercial, oh, am I bad? Am I bad? I forget the actor's name. And it's so evil what he's saying, and people don't even get it. They're so asleep because they've been so numbed out from the poisons in their food. But the reality is the only thing about the Olympics that I want to say is this. How is it that every 4 years we go and we break records? Well, guess what? You haven't even started to fulfill your potential. I'm telling you today that you are an unlimited, spirited being, and you need to love and care for yourself and know that, you know what? You are unlimited and you can have what you want. I was on the phone here today with a gentleman, and he's talking to me about this project about people on opiates. They don't have any money. People on opiates don't have any money. They don't have any money. They don't have any money. I said, listen, I'll do a show. I'll talk about everything that doesn't cost, but you just keep on saying they don't have any money. They don't have any money. I don't have any money. I got to go to work. I got to pay my bills. I got to do this. I got to do that. Keep talking. Because the human being, there's one thing that I know. Whatever you talk about is going to come true. Whatever you focus on, and you know what? If you believe that you need to cut your breasts off because there's a gene that's inherited, okay, which is no such thing, there's no science on it, if somebody would have proven it. I mean, the whole world is hogtied here. It's hogtied. What do you want me to do? I'll tell you what, this is what I'm going to do. The day that I can't tell the truth, the day that I can't come on here and be passionate with purpose, I quit. I quit. Because I can. I could stop working today. All right? Remember something. Anybody that practices on being in the moment will own their life. It doesn't matter. Remember something. The story you tell yourself, that's your life. You are the end result. So take a look at it. You're the end result of what you think and what you speak about and what you choose to listen to. That's the truth. You have the choice to change. I have tried to provide everything as much as I can. I have a library that cost me about probably $250,000, has more master classes in it than any other library. It's called docofdetoxlibrary.com. You go in there and then tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. And then you go in there and tell me that you don't understand, because you will understand everything when it's logical. You will not understand science when it's based on BS. Bad belief systems, bad science. Everything today in the medical system is bad science. And there is no medical breakthrough. There's a medical breakdown. Oh, did you hear? Did you hear? Did you hear what they can do now? Let me tell you something. For the little bit that they actually do right, there's a lot of harm going on. There's a lot of people that are in jeopardy right now. Okay? And understand something. Before, they used to hide it and sneak it in. Now, they don't even care if you know that they're lying, justifying, causing the crying, causing the pain. They don't care. They don't care. Because the majority of the population, okay, doesn't have enough honor, love, and self-respect for themselves. You can't give what you're not. If you totally loved, honored, and respected yourself, then guess what? What if we even had 2% of the population? We'd rock this thing. We don't even have 2% of the population loving and caring for itself. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not upset. I'm just trying to tell you that, let's take a look for what it really is. I'm trying to figure out the best way to try to do as much as I can for free. And then I have people telling me you can't give away so much for free because people don't appreciate it. And I go, well, what do you do with the majority of the population that believes in poverty consciousness? At least if I can get them to go in there, we can still help them. But then I get told by people that, then you're not going to be respected for your work. I mean, anybody out there in the medical field are going to charge more than they're worth. But in the health field, if we charge what we were worth, then I would be called scandalous, a snake oil salesman. I've gotten to the point it doesn't matter what people think of me. Because I know this, that if I don't have unconditional love for myself, and for every human being on this planet, I won't rock my world. That's how it is. I need you to think about this today. Let's see if you can love yourself just 1% more each day. Where will you be in 100 days? And then let's see if you actually go to hell. Let's see if you're in less pain. You will be. Let's see if you have more energy. Let's see if people like being around you more. Because guess what? Unconditional self-love is what turns the light on, that brightens up your eyes, that gives you that glow, that gives you the flow. Have a beautiful day, everybody. I'll see you later. I've got a couple shows I'm doing today let me think here, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm doing a Doc Talk with Cheryl out of California, where we'll be talking about nutritional things, health things, okay? We probably talk about some of our nutritional products, our nutraceuticals. We'll be talking about different strategies that you can do, okay? And then later today, we'll be having a BHN Power Pack show. We'll be talking about actual case histories of working and using cell sonic regeneration and actually using non-surgical and guess what? Creating miracles every day that aren't miracles. They're everyday situations, okay? We can actually bring the thunder down, but are you going to embrace the actual vibrational frequency that heals you and keeps you healed? Have a beautiful day. God bless.